Oh, hey! Wagwan people, what you saying? It is I, Diligent Fingers, and welcome to my 200 subscriber special, aka Yo DTV Cribs Ghetto Edition. In my wonderful home here, my crib, I'm going to show you around, show you where the magic happens, and all that good stuff. So let's take it away! So as soon as you go into my crib here, you'll be greeted straight away with the music and video editing area. This is where I make all of my music, all of my YouTube videos, all of my gaming content for you lovely people. I don't know why my voice has changed and all of a sudden I've turned into a posh person, but that's how we're going to carry on with the rest of this video. But as you can see, I have my lovely 2009 iMac. That's what I make all my music on. As you can see, I have my speakers, my keyboard, my monitor, and some other things that you can't see in the shot. And yes, over here you can see my record deck, which I use to sample all of my lovely records that I make into beautiful pieces of music for Millennium Jazz and Obnoxious Entertainment. Right next to my vinyl record player, I have a printer, which isn't working very much at the moment, but it still does the job when I need it to. On top of this, I have my 2004 MacBook, which I hardly ever use unless I'm going round to a friend's to upload some videos. Like this one right here. Moving on, and as we come to the next area, this is the kitchen area, where I cook all my food, my sustenance, to keep me alive. I have my trusty microwave and my multi-cooker. Unfortunately, because of the size of this abode, these are the only things that I can use, but very many sausage sandwiches and cups of tea, that are made in these areas, and you can see my glasses, my plates, and a bit of washing that I forgot to get rid of. Moving on, and as we move into the next area, I thought I'd show off some of my prized possessions, i.e. my assortment of new era fitted caps. Currently I have 41 in my collection, and some of my prize ones are being showed here. Also, little tidbit for you, you can see a picture of a graffiti piece that was painted by one of my good friends, T1, which corresponds to the amount of sugars he has in his cup of tea. But this was painted in the glorious city of Preston, in a subway underneath there, and at the top of this grenade thing here is a picture of my face. Thank you, T1. I will cherish this painting for the rest of my life. Moving on, now we enter the bedroom area, as they normally say in the American version of cribs. This is where the magic happens, even though not much magic actually happens here, except for me trying to get some sleep. But it's very comfortable. I can sprawl out on my own. I don't have any other bodies I need to worry about in terms of getting to sleep and having audible noise break me out of my slumber. But this is my lovely comfortable bed where no magic happens, unfortunately. Moving on, let me get into my b-boy stance. And now we come into the gaming area, the place you've all been waiting for. This is where I record all of my games. My trusty Xbox One here, and my Xbox 360, and my little USB Coolotron HD video capture device where I plug in my 64 gig USB, tap record and record all of my wondrous gameplay for you. I have an assortment of games, some books, and some other little knickknacks, paddywhacks that, help provide some atmosphere, some ambience while I am making wonderful gaming videos for you wonderful people. And so that brings us to the end of DTV Cribs tour with myself, Diligent Fingers. I really do hope you've enjoyed our soiree around my little studio, my humble little shoebox of an abode. It's not much, but it will do. I get the best out of it. So thank you for joining me. And I shall now return to my normal way of speaking, and we'll get into the 200 subscriber Q&A.
Wagwan people, what you saying? It is I, Diligent Fingers, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my 200 subscriber special. Thank you very much for joining me today. I really hope you enjoyed that DTV Crib special thing that I did. Basically just embarrassing myself for the sake of you lot, but I hope it was entertaining, if anything. And again, I want to say thank you very, very much to everyone, every single one of you subscribers, everybody who has been showing support within the YouTube community and outside of the YouTube community, whether it's music, whether it's work life, whether it's just life in general. Thank you so much for supporting me in this new direction that I'm going in whatever it is that I'm doing on YouTube. But yeah, we're all here because I put up a poll just before I hit 200 subscribers asking what you guys would want for a special. It was really close between the Q&A and the live performance, but the Q&A won out by 1%. So it is the Q&A that we are doing. First off, I want to say thank you very much for everybody, who was sent in a question. I had some really amazing questions sent in. Also, everybody who did send a question in, I will be leaving a link for their channel or their page in the description. There's some very talented people that have sent in links, as well as other YouTubers doing their thing and doing it well within the community. So check them out, show them some love, and if you really enjoy what they're doing, follow them, subscribe to them, leave them a like, leave them a comment, let them know that I sent you, if you want to. So without further ado, have a swig of me brew and let's begin. I just got me notepad. Be all professional in this shit. So first question comes in from Zenarif, young Zenpai, little bro Zen. And his question is, if you had to choose between music or games, what would it be? And how did you become so wise? Alright, cool. Okay, so putting me in a very difficult position here, Zen. Because I kind of really enjoy both. I like gaming and I like making music. So you're putting me between a rock and a hard place. But if I had to choose, it would have to be music. Reason being, you can make music from anything. Anything that can make a sound, you can make some sort of rhythm, some sort of percussive rhythm, or some sort of tone from it. And because I've already got an ear for music, because I've made music for so long, if everything was taken away from me and I just had the natural elements, doors, sticks, stones, do you know what I mean, stuff like that, I would probably still be able to find some way of being musically creative. And to answer your other question, how did I become so wise? Well, I don't really consider myself as wise. I try to be as down to earth as possible, and I try to be as understanding and as objective as possible. And you know, maybe that's what makes me come across as wise. I'm in no way, shape or form perfect, and I'm not saying that you trying to paint me as some sort of perfect figure or anything like that, but I'm just saying that to say, you know, everyone makes mistakes. You know, I've learned from the many mistakes that I've made growing up through my life and the many mistakes that I've seen other people make. Maybe it's a case of that, you know, maybe it's just how old I am and the fact that I've experienced a lot of things that makes me come across as wise. But I thank you, I really do thank you for the compliment and the question. Young Zenarith. Question 2 comes from Almighty Mushu. Ew. And his question is, what system programs do I use when recording music? Okay, so I'll give you the rundown of all the programs that I've actually used and what I would recommend depending on what type of system that you are using yourself or you plan to use in the future. To anyone who wants to make music out there, basically. What I started off on was a PC and a program called Cubase. This was version VST5, Cubase VST5, which was out at around 1994. The current version at the moment is Cubase SX, I think 7, or maybe just Cubase 7 at the moment. That's the latest version that I can remember. But Cubase I started off with in school, and then when I built my own computer, it was Cubase I was using for recording vocals or bouncing down stems that I'd made in another program called Reason. Now Reason is a really good program to use if you come from a sort of hardware studio background, so you know, synthesizers, modulators, oscillators. If you come from that background, then Reason will be a really easy program for you to understand after getting used to the sequencing layout. And I'd used a lot of hardware along with Cubase in school and a little bit in college and university as well. So, you know, I'd recommend that program, Reason. I think we're on Reason version 8 at the moment in terms of the latest version. Both those two programs you can get on PC or Mac. But what I currently use is a program called Logic, which is specifically for Mac computers because it's made by Apple themselves. So you can only get it on an Apple device, basically. I would recommend that to anybody who's got an Apple device, basically because it's so user-friendly, really user-friendly. Also, you can use it alongside Reason, just like you can use it alongside Cubase. So that opens up more creativity to you in terms of having all the sort of presets and instruments in both the programs that you can use at the same time. But in terms of programs, I would recommend Cubase, Reason, which you can get on PC or a Mac, and Logic, which you can get only on a Mac, but it is really user friendly, so it's good for people who are starting out. So yeah, sorry if it was a bit of a long-winded answer and that, but thank you very much for sending that question in, Mushu mate. I hope that helps you yourself as well. Next question comes in from Brianne and Matt, but I've had a couple of other questions which are similar, which is who inspires you in life? M does gaming's question, which is who and what inspires you most when making music? Sniperio X, I hope I pronounced that right. What is the motivation for your videos? Connor Malone, what is your biggest source of creativity? And I'll answer the second part to that question, Connor, as well, after the first part. But I think those three questions sort of, in terms of my inspiration for music and videos, I can answer that all in one. My inspiration for both music and videos has just been life in general, really. Just how I feel, what's been going on in my life. I've always been sort of led by emotion. I wear my heart on my sleeve a lot of the time. At least I hope that comes across in everything that I do, that comes across in my music, the videos that I make. What I try to do in my music, and the people who inspire me are the people that sort of break the mold, don't follow the same lines that everybody else does, sort of sees what's broken about what's in front of them and tries their hardest to fix it, tries their hardest to change it in some way. So, you know, coming from a life of seeing and experiencing domestic violence, abuse in many forms, mental health disorders. Like I have family members that are severely suffer from severe mental health issues and disorders and stuff. Seeing a lot of things go wrong and seeing a lot of hardship within my life has, sort of shaped me to try and break the cycle, try and be different to what's around me. Basically, one thing that my music teacher, Mr. Jackson, said to me when he first realized how into music I was, don't be what everybody expects you to be. And that's always stayed with me. So it's always been that has inspired me to do the things the way that I do them. And that's been the main motivation for my videos, for my music, and for anything that I do in life, to just break the cycle of things and do things a bit differently. And in terms of the second part of that question, which Connor Malone left, which was, how do I harness that and reproduce it into my work? I don't think there's a way that I could explain it. The only way that I can sort of explain it is I try and harness everything that's going on as much as I can in the form of writing, in the form of a type of game that I'll play. Like at the moment, with the way that I'm feeling, I really like fast-paced kind of games, or games that sort of take me on a journey or have really intriguing story to me, because it's about escapism at the moment. So then if I can harness how I'm feeling and represent that in the types of games that I'm playing, like shoot 'em ups, like there is a bit of anger in me, there is a bit of rage in me, where I do sometimes want to shoot somebody in the head, but rather than actually go out and do that, I'd rather just release that in a game. There's sometimes situations where you want to say something to somebody, but you don't have the opportunity or the chance to be able to say what you want to say. Being a writer, I can say that, maybe not as direct as I would want to, in also having respect for that person and not airing all our information out there, but being able to still get it off my chest and put it out into the ether, whether that person hears it or not. That's a creative and a massive release for me. So I try and harness that creativity and put it into song. It's something that I can leave behind. It's something that represents a point in my life, that whether it be good or bad, do you know what I mean? Even though I try not to put out bad energy into the ether. Yeah, I hope that answers, all three of those questions. But back to Brianne and Matt's second question: what has been your favourite moment as a YouTuber? What I'll do is I will put that in with directionally challenged his question, which is sort of the same: what's the thing you like most about YouTube? So my favourite thing, and the thing I like most about YouTube, again, is probably that creative outlet. In terms of a moment, probably my favourite moment was when I did my first gameplay montage, which was Bun Your Struggle.
Feeling good right now, so somebody's getting punched.
It's something that came from Destiny. It's something that I have a little bit of a guilty pleasure for. I find violence kind of funny. I don't know whether it's a nervous thing or just I've just got a mad sense of humour, but I find violence kind of funny, and the fact that I can harness it in a game that's not really supposed to be sort of like hands-on violent, like a shooter, but I can go into a PvP situation and punch somebody else in the face and it have an impact, and then also to creatively put that pleasure with another pleasure of mine, which is music, and also use like one of my favorite artists, like Mancunian artist. I'm an artist from Manchester. One of his pieces of music, do you know what I mean? And for people to just enjoy it, like it was something completely new for me. I'd never done anything to do with gaming like that before, and to also put it to music as well. I'd seen it done. I kind of thought it was just a bit flashy for my tastes, like some of the montages that I've seen done, but again, I really do appreciate the editing skill that goes into things like that. But for me, it was just messing about, and for me to do that, to be so nervous about it and putting it out there and just wondering what people are going to think, and for people to just enjoy it, was just amazing for me. And I think that's what I like the most about YouTube, the fact that you can put something out there. You can create anything with YouTube, really. It doesn't just stop at music and gaming. You can create anything that you want visually. Do you know what I mean? I'm not asked about the money, the number, but as long as, you know, I'm reaching that person that really does enjoy, you know, what I'm doing, then that's cool. I'm fine with that. I'm humble. But thank you very much to everyone who had the joint question, but also Brianne and Matt and Directionally Challenge for that question. Thank you very much for sending that in. Next question comes from Big Papa Sam Sam, and his question is, how did you come up with your name? And also, do you have set ideas or do you wing it? Okay, so the first part to your question, and thank you very much for sending that in, Uncle Sam Sam. How did I come up with my name? Okay, long story short, when I first started making music, my name was Bug, because I was small for my age. So when I got into music, my name was DJ Bug. I was always making hip hop and writing lyrics and stuff like that, but I didn't really show anybody or anything like that. It was just sort of a thing for myself. But somebody heard that I could, you know, spit, as it were. I could rap and write lyrics and stuff, and they asked me to host a drum and bass event as an MC. So I did it, and it went really well, and I kind of took off as an MC as well as a DJ. So I needed another name. I couldn't really go as MC Bug. It just didn't really sit right with me. So I got another name called Sense, and then I got into the whole, does somebody else have the same name as me, and are they more popular than I am? So it turns out there was already another MC Sense. There's already an MC Logic, which was my next name after that. I was getting into a bit of a mad dilemma. Throughout my years, people would begin to know me as one of these names, depending on where they met me in life. Do you know what I mean? So I wrote a song, and there was a bar in there that someone pointed out to me, which went, scribbling with diligent fingers and a mindset to militant. And someone said to me, you do a lot of shit with your hands. Why don't you think of something that combines all of those things together? But in terms of the second part of your question, do you have set ideas or do I wing it? Do you wing it? With certain things I have set ideas, like if I'm setting out to make a music video which has some sort of a story, then yeah, most definitely I'll have like a storyboard laid out, maybe a bit of a script for certain things that I want you know, to make sure I get in the video or the short film or whatever. When it comes to gaming, I think with gaming you are completely winging it, because you're reacting to what's happening in the game that you're also controlling. So I think with that kind of side of things, most definitely you are kind of winging it. But in terms of, you know, every day, when it comes to trying to do something every day, it's a mixture of both. I feel like it can be a mixture of both. Something can happen during the course of your day, you know, that can inspire an idea. You know, you can have a set idea, and something can also happen during the course of that day that might spoil that set idea that you have. You know, so I feel like there's a bit of both that goes on with my videos. But I'd like to have more set ideas come into fruition, which I'm hoping to do the more time I spend, you know, figuring out what I can do and what I can't do on YouTube. Set ideas take a lot of planning, a lot of building and creating behind the scenes, and a lot of planning to make sure the vision that you have comes out the way that you want it to. You know, so yeah, to answer your question, a little bit of both. But thank you for the question. These are really great questions. Like, they're bringing out long answers in me, but they are really great questions. Thank you to everyone who sent them in.
Tiger uppercut.